Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Canada Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Checking in on the jet stream here early on Tuesday morning, watching this little shortwave, this little patch of stronger winds within the jet stream to kick off an area of low pressure that's going to trigger some showers and storms, maybe some severe weather across the Midwest. Otherwise, we're watching broad ridging across the western half of the United States, and over the top of that, we're seeing little waves kind of ride up and over that through the parts of the southern prairie, kind of along the U.S. and the Canadian border. And that's going to keep things kind of on the cool side, at least for eastern Canada, parts of the eastern prairie, but also going to keep things a bit quiet, although we will have opportunities for precipitation kind of sneaking through. So let's dive in. It's a bit of a complicated look. Taking a look at the temperature forecast here, a snapshot of the next 10 days. Your first 5 days are on the left and the 5 days that follow that on the right. And I would say that this really kind of describes things well. As we look at the next 5 days, kind of dividing things in half. As we talk about Alberta, maybe southwestern Saskatchewan, going to keep things a little bit warmer than average. As you head off to the east, Manitoba, a big chunk of Saskatchewan, going to keep things on the cool side over the next 5 days. And then heading out beyond that, the 5 to 10 day range, the 6 to 10 day range, from September 9th through the 13th, are going to be cooling things down overall across the entire prairie. So again, the next 5 days warm to the west, cool to the east. The day 6 through 10 time frame going to be cool for everyone across the Canadian prairie. As we look at the precipitation forecast over the next week, it's going to be the northern area that I think has the best chance for more frequent rain opportunities, keeping things a bit quieter across the southern portions of the prairie until we get to about days 5, 6, and 7. We shift to a pattern. It's going to look a little bit more like this, keeping showers and storms more frequently, or our active storm corridor here, kind of along the U.S. and the Canadian border here. So the northern plains, southern portions of the Canadian prairie are going to be flipping back to an active pattern as we head into especially mid to late next week. So this kind of spells it out well. More active to the north this week as we head into the week 2 time frame, becoming more active off across the south. Now, looking at the satellite picture here early on Tuesday morning, I certainly know what day it is here. Looking at the visible satellite picture here across the Canadian prairie, a beautiful day for many across the prairie. Maybe some clouds across parts of central Saskatchewan into much of Manitoba, but to the southern half of Alberta, southwestern Saskatchewan, really a gorgeous start to the day. We're also tracking here, as you look at the U.S. here, a corridor of strong storms that drop some hail across parts of the northern plains, and is quickly racing across parts of the Midwest, parts of Wisconsin and Illinois. So some strong storms showing up there on the radar, or the satellite picture. The radar, as we look underneath those clouds, quiet across the Canadian prairie. What you're seeing here is ground clutter. This is not actually rain. This is showing up. We've got an inversion in place, or a layer of warm air just above the surface that kind of bends the radar beam back down toward the surface, and you get a bunch of ground clutter being picked up there. So a quiet day, a quiet start to the day across a big chunk of the Canadian prairie for your Tuesday. Where are we headed then beyond that? Again, as I mentioned, keeping ridging overall across parts of the western U.S., parts of western Canada. This northwest flow keeping things cooler off to the east, warmer underneath the ridge, so warmer off to the west. That's where we get this current look. And you'll see several small waves kind of riding up and over the top of that ridge. Here's one right here. You can kind of see it there within the flow. Let's kind of play this out over the next week. And take a look at where we're going. So bringing it back to Tuesday, taking this through the middle part of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, we see that first wave kind of sneaking through. We're seeing another upper level wave right in this region, right here. That's going to be bringing precipitation to parts of the northern areas here, northern Saskatchewan, Alberta, northern Manitoba, as we head through the middle part of the week. Taking this a bit further, seeing where that ridge kind of hold on. There's another little subtle wave kind of traveling through the flow, kind of watching that ride up and over the top of it through parts of the northern plains of the United States. And then it's not until we get to early next week, we're talking Sunday, Monday, we're starting to see more major waves or more organized waves beginning to eject out of the west and into parts of the Canadian prairie. And this is when we could start to ramp things up in terms of precipitation, rain, and thunderstorms across the southern prairie here, parts of southern Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, perhaps turning more active as we get into next week. So really, chances for precipitation, but pretty quiet as we head through this week. As we get to the other side of the weekend into next week, perhaps turning more active in terms of more organized storm systems across the Canadian prairie. Taking a look at the jet stream winds here, we can pick out some of these storm systems. We'll go ahead and hit play on this. Oh, that was a still image. What do you know? Sorry about that. So we'll skip the jet stream winds here. It did, the pattern was laid out there well with our height anomalies there, which I showed you on the map before. And this will continue to show the pattern pretty well as I kind of bring this back. We'll go through it over time, taking it back to Tuesday. Quiet as we start the week here. Taking it into Wednesday, this is when we see that first little subtle system kind of sneak through. So this is our first little opportunity for some light rain across the Canadian prairie. You see that other storm system off to the north, bringing perhaps some heavier rain to the north as we go through Wednesday and Thursday. Mostly quiet, taking it through the end of the week. There you're just seeing these subtle little systems make their way through. So every 2 to 3 days, maybe a chance for some light rain across this area, across the southern prairie. So light precipitation opportunities over the next 3 to 4 days. And then as we get into the weekend now, Sunday into Monday, now you're seeing a much more organized storm system starting to organize right across the U.S. and the Canadian border here, bringing some more significant rain and thunderstorms to parts of southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, and southern Manitoba. So again, the precipitation forecast, light opportunities for isolated rain showers, very light precipitation over the next 4 or 5 days. Once we get on the other side of Sunday, perhaps shifting to a more active pattern across this region. We'll take it out a little bit further. You see another wave beginning to organize off to the south. So low confidence in where exactly these storm systems track, but getting higher confidence in the shift towards a more active pattern across at least southern portions of the Canadian prairie next week. Your total accumulated precipitation, this from the GFS model, this will spell it out well. Light precipitation opportunities over the next 4 to 5 days, and then that heavier precipitation you see sneak in at the very end here. This is now we're in through, we'll watch it here again. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, now Monday, Tuesday, you start to see this area begin to get a little more active. But again, taking it out up until that point for the rest of this week into the weekend. Going to be heaviest precipitation off to the north across this region, just very light, isolated opportunities for some light rain showers as we go through the rest of the week. Taking a look at day by day, the precipitation, this once again will spell things out. We'll take it back here to Tuesday. Again, not expecting much in the way of significant precipitation. On the day Wednesday, maybe some light rain showers across the region. Heaviest precipitation going to be off to the north. Thursday, similar look. Maybe some light rain showers across parts of central and southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Heaviest precipitation going to be off to the north on Thursday. Quieting down Friday. Maybe a subtle system bringing some very light rain to far southern portions of Alberta and Saskatchewan on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, now we're starting to flip back toward the active pattern across this region. This starts on Sunday from west to east, now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, perhaps another system coming in here late in the week. So again, I hope that kind of spells it out for you. If I just kind of use this as a blank palette, off to the north, best chance for rain here over the next 4 to 5 days across this region. Light precipitation opportunities as we head through Saturday. When you get on the other side of Sunday, then you start to shift back to an active pattern here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week across the south. Your temperature forecast, temperature anomalies, this will paint the picture well. Also, we're going to be looking for a lot of blue and green shading on the eastern half of this map, a lot of red shading over here toward the west, and that's going to be the pattern here for the next 4 to 5 days as we just kind of take it through time. Again, watching things warm off to the west, cooler off to the east, until we get into next week. We start to shift back to that active pattern across this region. That's going to help bring some cooler air back into the Canadian prairie. So not only do we shift to an active pattern, perhaps shifting to a cooler pattern across the Canadian prairie as we get into next week. Your precipitation forecast here for Alberta, spelling out once more, heaviest to the north until we get to next week. Here is now Monday and Tuesday of next week. So the best chance for precipitation this week, going to be off to the north. Just light opportunities for precipitation off to the south until we get to the other side of the weekend. Your high temperatures, this is where it will be warmer over here toward the west. Your highs for the day today, 30s off to the south, right near 30, I guess I should say, low 20s off to the north. High temperatures Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. As we shift off to the east, you're going to see the same thing. The heaviest precipitation early on in this loop is off to the north. This comes through here mid to late this week. Just scattered, isolated, light precipitation off to the south until we get to the other side of the weekend. And then as we get into next week, turning more active across parts of the southern prairie. There you see it Monday and Tuesday of next week. Your highs for the next 5 days, going to be cooler over here. Going to be having high temperatures in the mid-20s across southern Saskatchewan to the single digits across northern Manitoba on Tuesday. Wednesday, warmer off to the south. Got a boundary right across here. This would be Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. High temperatures generally in the mid to upper teens. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and I'll have your next check-in with the Canadian Prairie region on Friday morning. Have a great day.